Hello, Raushan. Good evening. Thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to have this conversation with me today. I'm very excited to meet you. Why don't you start by telling me how has your day been so far?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for having me. You know, uh, it's been a long day, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to this conversation. I really wanted to connect to you. I saw your videos; they were amazing, and that's why I reached out to you.
Thank
What
you
about
so
you?
much.
How has been your day?
My day, it has also been a long day and it has a
Mm.
few more hours to go. But I'm really looking forward to my vacation that's starting day after tomorrow. So I'm really excited to
Yes,
have that relaxing time ahead.
yes. I hope you are going to have fun. And
I hope so.
yes,
All right. So, Roshan, since we are meeting for the first time, let me start by giving you a quick introduction and then you can also
yes, yes,
introduce
yes.
yourself and then we can talk forward. Okay. All
All right.
right. So, you already know my name. I was born and raised in Kolkata, but I have been residing in Pune for the last 10 years. I am a communication and a soft skills coach by profession, and I have recently completed my TEFL certification as well. So now I'm eligible to teach English as a foreign language to people whose first language is not English, right?
Mm.
And
Yes,
I have worked in the corporate sector for almost 11 years, but starting off this year, I have started on my own working as an independent coach, and I'm
mm,
thoroughly enjoying this journey. I'm very new on YouTube, and this is also one thing that I'm, you know, enjoying so much. The best part is getting to meet interesting people like you every day, and this is something
mm.
which is very rewarding to be on a platform like YouTube and connecting with so many people. And whenever I get some free time, I love cooking. I cook every day, and I
Yes.
love traveling. I travel every few months, and I love spending time with my friends and family. So whenever I get some free time, I like to chat with my friends. I like to sit down with my family and have some good time. So that's a little bit about me. If you have any specific questions, I would love to answer them for you.
Sure, sure. Would you like to know about me?
Absolutely, yes.
Sure, sure. Well, my name is Raushan, and I am from Bihar. I recently graduated with English honors, and currently, to pay my bills, I'm working in a school. I love reading, watching movies, and I have also created a YouTube channel where I talk about books, movies,
Wonderful.
and connecting people like you. So when I
Mm.
heard that you are a language trainer, I really wanted to reach out to you and wanted to talk about your experience and the people you meet and all those
Mm.
techniques you use to make them understand this language or just your style. I wanted to discuss that.
Mm. Wonderful. That's great. And thank you for reaching out. I think, you are also doing a wonderful job yourself, being a teacher and also, running your own YouTube channel. And the best part is having this curiosity to get to know new things. I think that is one of the best
Yes, yes, yes.
qualities that you can have. So good job on
Mm,
that. And,
thank
congratulations
you,
on
thank
doing
you.
so many things already.
Well, it's not easy to manage, but you have to do a lot of
Sure.
things, especially with internet. You just cannot sit around and work in a school, right? You have to try different things, and you can understand.
Correct.
You have worked for 11 years, and now you are moving on YouTube. So, how has been your
Mm.
experience? I mean, meeting all these people. How do you like it?
I love it actually. I have always loved meeting people. I have always been an extrovert. Since my childhood days, I used to love meeting people, talking to them. I remember, I'll tell you this incident, okay? I think in class 9 or 10, and we had gone on a family vacation to the southern part of India. And we were
Mm,
visiting Madurai, and it was the evening time, and we were in the Minakshi temple in Madurai, okay? And there was this foreigner couple who were sitting in one of the corners of the temple, and I really wanted to talk to them. I was like, what,
yes.
14, 15 years old at that time, okay? And I really wanted to talk to them, get to know, what they do, where are they from, and all of that. So I went up to them and I spoke to them that, hey, I introduced myself and I spoke to them. And that's
Mm,
when, that why I am mentioning this one thing is because that interaction gave me a very eye-opening example about life. What they said is the guy, both of them were from Germany, and the guy was a postman, and the girl used to work in a laundry. Okay.
mm,
And their goal in life was they will spend 6 months working without any holidays or anything. They spend six
all
months
right.
working. They saved that entire money. And for the next
Mm,
6 months, they would explore a new country. That was their life.
yes, yes,
Okay. And that at that age, it was so fascinating for me because I also loved traveling. Since my
mm,
childhood, I loved traveling, right? And that was one thing that was very fascinating to me. So I still remember that interaction. And
mm,
why I'm telling you this is because in a way, I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy getting to know other people. So for me, this journey on YouTube is again absolutely satisfying and rewarding because I get to meet
yeah,
people, I get to know their stories, and they
mm.
inspire me a lot. So I absolutely
You know,
enjoy it.
I'm completely opposite of you. I have never approached people. This is the first time, I'm reaching out to them and asking them if I can come to their channel or just to have a conversation. And I
Right.
think yes, so it's quite new for me. And I have
Hmm.
shared this story a couple of times here that I have been a camera conscious person. So this is also a new thing for me, challenging myself, putting myself in a difficult situation to see if I can manage or not. And the story you
Hmm.
told really fascinating because where we live, I mean, in our country, you have to work. Whenever it comes to taking time off, people think that you should not be taking time off. Our
Right.
philosophy is completely different from those philosophers. Sorry, those
Hmm.
foreigners I'm talking. It is completely different, right? We just want
Correct.
to work. And when it comes to traveling, I think because of internet, the dynamics has changed. People now want to
Hmm.
explore. Even earlier, it was expensive. It is still expensive. But I think with
Right.
internet, you can find affordable places and you can
Correct.
plan your budget better than
Hmm.
what used to be, right? There are more resources now.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And from whatever you said, okay, there are two things that I want to talk about. Number one, you said that you are not a camera conscious person, you are not an outspoken person, but still you are trying to reach out to people for
Yes,
conversations.
yes, yes.
So, here I want to tell you something very interesting. There is a very famous saying called life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So I
Mm,
think you are absolutely on the right track where you are trying to
yes,
break
yes.
out of your comfort zone and make
Mm,
something for yourself that is worthwhile. So the
yes.
moment you understand that you have to push your boundaries and get out
Mm,
of your fixed mindset and do things
mm,
for your own betterment, I think there is no stopping you from there. Okay. So
definitely,
of
definitely.
course, you are doing a wonderful job by pushing yourself. A lot of people are very shy to even give that push to themselves. So I would
Mhm.
definitely appreciate you for doing that. And
Thank you,
the
ma'am.
other thing, the
I mean,
mentality that you spoke, yes,
I think we don't need to seek validation from outside. What I have seen people here, especially talking to them, I think people are really
mm,
looking for that validation that
right,
we need to get that compliment. I can, feel their energy whenever I'm talking to them. And I'm
mm,
not speaking against anyone. Yeah, this is how they see, right? They need a validation from outside to, I think feedback is a different thing, but getting validated is a different thing. I think you can
right,
understand better because uh, you are you are a language trainer, so you must be going through this process every day.
absolutely, multiple times every day.
Yes, yes,
Right? So yes, very true, and I'm very happy to see that at such a young stage of your career you have understood this, because this is a very
mm,
important thing. If you want to be a trainer or if you want to be a teacher, you have to understand these things, right? So you are
yes, yes,
absolutely on the right track that you understand
mm,
these basic elements about people. Uh, when you are training people, it's not just about imparting the knowledge you have. It is also about understanding psychologies of your student, right?
yes, yes,
Every learner is different. So
yes.
understanding that becomes very important.
I think especially with coming of internet, the traditional way is changing. The way I
Mm,
was brought up and my schooling was done, English was not a big
correct.
thing. Now people make it completely their personality. I mean, whoever can
Mm,
speak a few lines, they think that this is their whole personality. But when I was in
right.
school, this was nothing. Of course, people used to still measure their skills just because
Mm,
people could speak a few lines, but it was not given that much importance. But I think
Correct.
internet has provided more resources. We can express ourselves, right?
Hmm.
So
Correct.
I think you are into that phase. You must have gone through that traditional way, and now you are using modern way. Which one do you prefer, and why?
Okay, so I'll tell you when I talk about traditional ways, okay, I studied in an English medium school. So for me, it was not a completely different world when I wanted to pick up fluency because
Yes,
I
yes.
loved English as a language. I was very fond of English. I loved literature. I loved poetry. I loved grammar as well, right? But the only differentiator was when I moved to college, that is when I realized that I'm not confident or fluent while speaking. Because in
Mm,
school, we never had to speak the language, there
yes,
was no
yes, yes.
environment to speak, right?
Mm,
So when I went to college, I have done hotel management, and being in that industry, you speak to guests, right? When you are in your training,
yes,
you
yes.
speak to guests,
Hospitality.
you
Mm,
interact with people, hospitality, right? Not just guests. My batchmates were from all over India, and not
mm,
everybody would know Hindi, or not everybody would know my local language, that was Bengali. So what is the
yes.
other, language that I use to interact with
Of
them?
course, English.
That became English,
English.
right?
Mm, mm,
So English, that's why I keep telling people that English is no more a language that you need to interact with the entire world, but
mm.
with your own countrymen also. Because
Yes,
not
yes.
everybody knows Hindi. That is something that,
Mm.
a lot of people have that mindset that, oh, everybody knows
We are
Hindi,
from
but
India,
not
and we
everybody
know
knows
English.
Hindi.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Mm,
So there has to be one common language that you use in order to interact with people, express yourself to people, right? So
mm,
that's when my journey started. And to be very honest, when I say, traditional or um, modern ways, if you are talking about, grammar is not needed, or you can learn English in 60 days,
mm.
or you can learn English in 30 days,
No, I'm not talking about
that's
that
not
thing.
modern
But
way. That's
hmm,
just a gimmick,
yes, yes.
okay, to be
Click.
very honest.
It's a clickbait, I think. Mm,
Yes, it is a clickbait, nothing else. Because when you
mm.
write something on your reel or on your video, people will click. People would want to see how you can learn English
Definitely,
without grammar.
definitely.
But end of the
Mm.
day, you
Yeah,
have
you
to
need
know
all of
tenses.
these elements. Mm,
Yes, correct. So for me, what has worked in my life is when I wanted to become fluent, I pushed myself in situations where I have to have a holistic approach to learning the language, which means I never
mm.
made it a point that, okay, I have to learn 5 words every day. No, that was not my
Yes,
approach.
yes, yes.
I just had conversations with my friends every day for 2 hours. We used to speak to each other in English. We would
Yes.
watch one English movie every night during dinner.
Mm.
I at that time we loved reading. So we would read a lot of English books, novels, stories.
Yes. Mm.
And yes, and that was it. We would write a little bit. How was our day? Just journal writing and all of that.
Yes. I think in this matter we are very similar. I didn't go to a English medium school, but the
Hmm.
stories. I always loved the stories. I was introduced to
Right.
Balhans and Champak when I was a kid, and then later
Hmm.
on when I was exposed to the internet, then movies happened and comics. So even though I lived in a village, my media preferences were completely different. My friends what they used to consume, I was completely an alien there. I used to read comic
Correct.
books. I used to read
Hmm.
novels. So because of them, I wasn't able to relate to them. But somehow, because of the surrounding, which I had created in my own room, reading books, comics, and just watching movies. That's how I
Correct.
think I was able to understand. In the same manner, I didn't learn any words. I didn't attend any grammar classes in that manner. But when I
Hmm.
was in class 11, I met some of the people where I could talk to them in English. So that thing happened there, to be able to express myself. And then I learned grammar there. So it made writing easier for me. And I was able to express myself in a better manner. And especially when you are reading something, the monologue is going in your head and you have all these ideas, right?
Yes.
You can relate with that. So,
Yes.
what, are you reading anything at the moment?
Yes, I am rereading The Alchemist. I read it
I'll
when I
just-
was in. Yes, I read it when I was in college, but I wanted to reread it. So now I'm rereading that book. And after this, I think I'm going to try, I'm going to start with the Shiva trilogy, Amish.
Uh,
So
I have
probably
heard
I'll
of it.
start with that.
The Alchemist is one of my favorite book of all time. This was the first plain text which I had read. When I was in class
Mm.
11, my literature teacher gave it to me, and you won't believe, I finished it within 10 days. And I had not
Right?
read plain text in a long, long time. It was really
Yeah.
fascinating. I could relate with the story. The philosophy was understandable, and especially the
Right.
language. It was really
Mm.
comprehensible, even though I wasn't used to the language. So I think reading helps a
Correct.
lot.
It
And
does. It does.
yes, yes. So
Alchemist is one book that I keep telling everybody to read. Everybody in this
yes, yes, it is
entire
for
world
beginners.
should
It
read
is for
Alchemist at
yes.
least once.
I think I think everybody can love it because the theme is so universal that you can't stop reading it. I mean, we all have
Correct.
dreams. We all go through that self doubt that whether we can achieve it or not.
Correct.
And then
Yes.
when we are on that path, we still doubt ourselves whether we can actually get to the point where we want to.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, I
Yes.
100% agree to that. So, yeah, that was great. So tell me this, Roshan, like in your journey, it's great that, you spoke about these things, that how your life
Hmm.
was quite different from people around you, because that is what, matters for you or for any learner to understand
Yes, yes,
that it's
definitely.
every
Hmm.
choice that you make in life that will shape your future, right? You
Hmm.
can choose
Hmm.
to spend time scrolling through reels, but you have to ask yourself, what kind of value am I getting out of it? Or what is my
Yes.
interest in it? What am I deriving out of it? Right? So
Hmm.
I really like that part of it. But if I ask you to talk about, the most difficult part of your journey, because you're not from an English medium background, as you said, right? So what was the
Hmm.
most difficult part of your journey?
I think it has to do with expressing myself to others. It was much challenging for me. I knew what I wanted to speak, but because of not being able, I still, I'm not still able to hold a conversation outside of this room. If I'm in a
Hmm.
classroom, I talk freely. But whenever somebody approaches me because of watching my videos, I think my lips are shut. I can't even utter thank you or you are welcome words like this. So this is
Hmm.
still something which I'm getting used to. And
Hmm.
talking about scrolling and changing my lifestyle, I still scroll social media. I'm still addicted
Hmm.
to that dopamine hit. But the thing is that I'm more mindful of it. Ever since I was
Right.
in class 11, I became mindful of it that I have to choose media which should not influence me in a bad manner. Of course, I
Right.
remember how reading those comic books made me feel like an alien. I used to brag to
Hmm.
my friends that you are not worthy of a conversation because I'm reading this thing and you are not. I was immature, but still, it was nice to talk like that. But
Hmm.
sorry, there was a call.
That's okay.
So
That's okay.
I think
You can
being
continue.
yes, being able to express myself, I think something which is I'm getting used to, and I hope I
Right.
can I can get command over it. And it's really commendable watching people like you who are helping others and making a living out of it. It's really commendable.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's what I keep telling everybody, that, learning a language or learning how to communicate effectively, it's a lifelong
Mm.
journey. There is no
Yes,
destination
yes.
as such, right?
Yeah.
It's a lifelong journey. And
Mm.
I think if you realize what happens to a lot of people, they don't realize what is it that they need to change.
You know,
Once you realize that, okay, this is specifically something that I need to work on, that's half of your job done, because you are aware of the problem, right?
yeah.
Now you're aware of the fact that you have to work on it, so you will
Mm.
definitely get to your, uh, development. You will look at things that are changing in your life, the way you are, communicating. And the best part is, for you have a benchmark to measure it, because you have your conversations on YouTube. When you
Yes,
see,
definitely.
when you look at yourself 5 years down the line, you will see a completely different Roshan there. And that will give
Hmm.
you that satisfaction that, okay, I have come across, I have come a long way, and I have
Yes,
achieved
I
so many things.
I
I
completely
have done this.
agree with you on this point. to be able to have something physical on any media, because
Exactly.
when I was in class 11, I have a few of my clips where I was talking to people in English from my class. So I can
Right.
see how much I have changed. You can see that the progress. It's not a linear line. Sometimes you feel like you have learned so much, but then suddenly you feel like you are nothing. So I have been on that journey. But YouTube
Mm.
and those clickbaits have made people feel like they can learn a language within 15 minutes, or watching short videos they can learn it. Right?
Mm.
The people
Correct.
get the
Correct.
wrong idea that we can learn this language within 6 months. Learning is
Mm.
another thing, but being able to communicate and expressing yourself are completely different things.
Absolutely. And one thing also that I keep telling people is don't confuse the English language or any language for that matter with communication. Because
Yes,
communication
definitely.
is a different art altogether. It's a skill set
Mhm.
that you need to have, how to communicate effectively with people. And it can be
Mm.
in any language. It can be in Hindi, it can be in Marathi, it can be in Bengali, Punjabi,
Yes.
Urdu, doesn't matter, right? So keeping that, that knowing that difference between language and communication, that also clears out a lot of doubt for you,
It helps a
right?
lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Recently I was reading the biography of APJ Abdul Kalam, Wings of
Mm.
Fire. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. He talked
Yes.
about this thing, communication and conversation. Communication and
Right.
conversation. He talked about these two things. And I was really interested into his personal life, what kind of man he
Mm.
was. He came from a very humble background. I think you are aware
Mm.
too. But whatever he had achieved, I wanted to know his process and all. But I found out that he was a workaholic. He did nothing but work.
Correct.
He worked a lot.
Mm.
And he talked about this
Correct.
thing, being a leader and being able to communicate your ideas. And it takes time. He
Correct.
talked about everything.
Mm. Absolutely. All right. So, Roshan, I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. It was very
Likewise.
interesting, it was very fascinating, and it was very refreshing. It's not like those
Yes.
same questions, but I think we spoke
Mhm.
about quite a few interesting things, and I feel that our viewers will also get some
Yes, they are going to
value
love
out of
it.
this, right?
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Okay, so we will definitely try and connect once again in future with maybe some other topic that we can talk about.
Sure,
And but for
sure.
today, I absolutely enjoyed this conversation, and
Yeah, yeah.
I wish you all the best for everything that you are doing. And
Thank you. Good
doing
luck with your
great in your
vacation.
journey.
Have fun, and we will
Yes,
connect. Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye, Roshan.
Bye. Bye. Take care.